Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I am back with a starter home. We are going back to basics here. This is a starter home only using the base game, and I wanted to do this for a couple of reasons. A, I haven't been doing too many limited pack or base game builds on the channel lately, and I do have some ideas for some bigger things that I'm really excited to do. But I've been doing so many big builds lately that I haven't been able to keep up with it and post as often as I'd like to. And so it just sounded really fun to sit down and create a starter home just using the base game. It didn't take too long, so I was able to keep in pretty much all of the footage here. And I think it came out really cute in the end. It's under 20K and it's just a 1-bedroom starter home, but I think it looks pretty nice, so I hope you will enjoy it. If you do and you'd like to download it, it is available on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You could also find it under the hashtag Gryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below as well. So right now I'm just adding this little bump out on the side, and I'm going to move it closer to the front of the house, and that's actually going to be the kitchen space. It's really small, but because I made it small, I was able to have upper cabinets and all of that and make it feel like it was actually finished instead of having this feel like a really empty starter home. So I was really happy with that. I was also able to add a side door here leading to the backyard, which I didn't really decorate. I figured just having some landscaping outside made the most sense. And then as your Sims earn money, they can go ahead and add some outdoor furniture and stuff like that. But I do have all of the necessities inside. We have a double bed, everything you need in the kitchen, the trash can, also a living space with a small TV. And there are a couple spots in here where you could save a little bit of money if you wanted to delete some things. Like that archway into the hallway is totally not necessary. That's just extra simoleons I spent, but I thought it looked nice. And those are the kind of things I try and get away with when I'm building a starter home. But then if we have to go back and delete them for budget, I will do so. There were a couple of items I ended up switching out in the end to get cheaper versions, but I did keep the archway and the wall. So those will be staying. But anyway, we are on the outside now, and I'm starting to play around with the wallpapers. I wanted to try a few different things, but in the end, I ended up picking my favorite swatch of the outdoor paneling from base game, which is the green one. We're not there yet. I'm trying so many different things, but we do end up going with that one in the end, and I think it looks nice. The one thing I really wish, though, is this particular outdoor one only has the version that has these sort of automatic pillars on the corners, and it's bothered me for a really long time that this color does not exist in the other version of the wallpaper that doesn't have those corner pieces. And I remember bringing it up to the Sims team when I was working on high school years, because I wanted to use it on the house that I was building for that lot that I believe it's Ash and their family live in. And I asked if they could fix that base game wallpaper, and I don't think anyone even noticed that I asked, unfortunately. But I really hope someday they go in and fix things like that, and of course add more swatches. I know we got some interior wallpapers in the last year that had updated swatches, and I hope they continue to go back and do that, because it's so nice to just get some new colors, and I feel like it just really adds to the game. Even though we're not getting a new pack in that sense, we're just getting new swatches, and it feels very exciting. So I hope they do that some more. It'd be really cool to see. And if you agree, let me know which wallpapers or items in game you think are in desperate need of new swatches, base game in particular. Anyway, back to the build. I am starting to pick out the furniture for the bathroom. You already saw the kitchen furniture come together, and I will be going back into the kitchen a little bit later to add a tile backsplash. It's going to be the same one I end up using in the bathroom. I just don't get to that just yet. I had everything with this green wallpaper, which is one of those wallpapers that did get that swatch update at one point, and I think it's a really pretty color, so I decided to use that in here. And the bathroom's really simple. We just have a standing shower. I do get rid of the bathrobe in the end to cut down on budget later on, but I did keep both of the towels. And then in the living space, I end up going for 2 love seats in here. I wanted to fit a bigger couch, but it's a really small space, and I felt like it felt a little bit too snug. Another thing that I wasn't really thinking about, because I often leave them out of builds, is I didn't really have space inside for a dining space. I did think about trying to add one, and so what I ended up doing is actually putting a table and 2 chairs out on the front porch, as there is space out there. So there is a table and chairs for your Sims to sit at if they would like to dine at a table, but I feel like my Sims usually just sit on the couch anyway, and that's also what I do in real life. I'd be very curious to know who uses their dining table still. I know everyone's different, but it's just not something I've used in a very long time. Our table is just always covered in like mail and my partner's laptop. So That's what we have in our space. But anyway, I did add a little table here with a TV. That's another area you could save on budget if you wanted to get a cheaper TV or just delete it altogether. And I also do swap out that piece of artwork as well for budget later on and put a different one. But this is where I'm trying to figure out if I can fit a table, and I ended up putting it outside instead. And I think it works really nicely right there. And then I just put a couple of like coat rack items by the front door, and I believe a fire alarm as well, but I think I moved that into the hallway later on. And here is that tile that I put in the kitchen. I just thought it looked nice. I could have kept the same wallpaper throughout, but I thought it was nice to just have a little bit of a different wallpaper in a couple of spots. And there is that fire alarm, and I also get a little rug when you first walk in the door. I just thought that that was nice. A place to like wipe off your shoes, although normally that's outside, but I still think it looks nice on the interior of builds. And then in here, I didn't go with the cheapest bed, which is another spot you could probably save some simoleons. I just decided this one looked nicer, and I go back and forth on the swatches of it a few different times on which like wood tone I want to go for, but we get there in the end. But I'd like to get off topic one more time right now because I am so excited. The Sims tweeted out today a post saying, "Ooh, look at that sparkle. Tune in tomorrow, February 20th at 8 a.m. Pacific for some dazzling news." And there's a picture or like a little GIF of a like gemstone growing out of the ground and a moon in the background. And it sounds like we're getting our stuff pack announcement tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. It's been like speculated it could be jewelry making because of the roadmap they put out. And I'm just really curious and excited to be getting another stuff pack. So if you are curious about that, make sure you tune into the Sims channel tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific. I will also be doing a trailer reaction here on the channel as long as it is a full trailer that they're posting. I assume it is. And usually when I do those trailer breakdown things, we will go through and get my initial reaction, but then I will also go through and point out every new item that I see so we can kind of speculate and look at everything together. And it's always a lot of fun. So make sure you check out the channel tomorrow for that. I'm really excited about it. But anyway, let me know what you're thinking, what you think that pack is going to be, and if you are excited. And let's discuss in the comments. But for now, I'm going to get back to the build. We only have a couple of minutes left, and we're working on the landscaping now. I'm using pretty much all show live edit objects out here, so we don't spend any money on the landscaping. I think that's always a good thing to do in homes in general, but definitely in starter homes when you're on a tight budget. You don't want to be spending hundreds or thousands of simoleons on bushes. Real life, that makes sense, but also who wants to do that? But in The Sims, I try to use free landscaping whenever I can if I'm trying to work on a budget. Even when I'm not, I tend to use the show live edit objects items just because I like them more. So I have like some very expensive houses, like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of simoleons, maybe even 1 million, but I still have all this free landscaping just because I think it's way prettier. So I do end up using quite a bit of that here, and we're getting some dirt terrain paint around the lot and a couple of flowers under those trees. I am also going to be replacing one of the fence pieces with this little bit of brick that I found that matches these pillars that I have on the front of the house. And I'm going to be using some of that in the front of the house as well, like in the front yard, to create some fencing. And I will also be adding a driveway just because it felt like there was some empty space on this lot and I wanted to add something there. So I'm going to be doing that here shortly and adding a car. It's all just decoration. It's not functional. Unfortunately, we do not have cars that work in The Sims. These are just like debug items. So I will be grabbing that here. And then with that, I'm going to be erasing some of that terrain paint and putting some like cement down instead. I believe is it cement concrete? I'm not sure. The default one that if you put down a room that is inside your house, I end up using that one because it's free and I just put it in the black swatch. So I'm going to grab that here now and draw out a nice driveway and then connect that to the front porch. And I think it works quite well. It fills up the lot nicely, and that helped a lot because I didn't know what to do here because this is not a tiny lot. I think this one's a 20 by 30, and typically starter homes I try and do on 20 by 15s. So with that though, we're going to be heading to the end of the video and heading on into screenshots. I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thank you so very much for watching. Please enjoy those screenshots and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye everyone.